Welcome to Small Business Big Dreams, where every episode is a new journey into the world of entrepreneurs who are daring to dream big. In this corner of the internet, we're going to celebrate the innovation and the perseverance it takes to turn small ventures into booming successes. These small businesses aren't just places to shop, they're actually hubs of creativity and passion, each with its own amazing story. From the mom and pop shops to the innovative startups, we're going to explore it all. You'll meet the faces behind the brands, hear their stories, and maybe even get inspired to start your own venture. Whether you're a longtime local or new in town, come along with me for the ride and let's celebrate the backbone of our communities one small business at a time. Now let's dream big and spread some love for our local heroes. All right, well, welcome back to another week of Small Business Big Dreams. I'm your host, Eric Bohl, and this week we're going to talk about your favorite topic. We're going to talk about insurance. We all love insurance. We love and hate it, actually. And I am sitting down with a really, really good friend of mine, Mayte, who is an agency owner of an American Family Insurance location, and she has done nothing but absolutely help me get through some really difficult times because she set me up with some really great insurance. So welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Well, so we are going to talk about insurance, but I want to talk about you and how does somebody get into insurance? So first question first. All right, let's do this. I'm going to actually totally start this over. What we're going to do is give us the elevator pitch of what you do.
So it's kind of hard. No, it's not hard to explain. It's, I basically, sell insurance.
Yeah.
And my business just entails into, all aspects of insurance. Talking about homeowners, auto, life, business, and business is just a broad spectrum of, of things when it comes to building coverages, business, umbrellas, workers' comp. So there's just a lot of aspects to it. So my job is basically explaining coverages, selling all aspects of it. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much it.
It sounds so straightforward, but it is so sometimes complicated to navigate.
Oh, yeah.
We've worked on some pretty crazy stuff.
Yes.
All right. So you didn't grow up wanting to sell insurance. That wasn't probably your childhood dream.
It was not. So definitely not.
So talk to me. What were you doing before? And then how did you end up in the insurance space?
Well, my career basically started with consumer lending.
Okay.
So for 20 years, I was in the consumer lending industry. And there we were actually selling insurance as well.
Okay.
So it was just a component of it. We were selling loans, offering personal loans to customers. And from there, we actually offered insurance to cover pretty much, insure those loans as well. So
interesting.
Yes. So you would sell it. It's called credit insurance.
Okay.
And that's where I actually got my license. So you would actually sell credit insurance, in case customers would fall ill and they wouldn't be able to cover their monthly payment, or they would get laid off from work, or, in the event of death, the debt would be paid off.
Gotcha.
So that's where I got into the insurance aspect of it. So from then on, just really caught my attention. And I was doing that for 20 years before I jumped into the, fully into insurance.
And so from there, did you go then just right into having your own agency essentially?
Pretty much.
So you just I'm assuming you were working for a bigger company at the time, and then you were packed your bags. I'm doing this on my own.
Yes.
Wow.
So I was actually at a crossroads, not knowing fully what I wanted to do, whether I wanted to, move up from the company or then just pursue other dreams. And the opportunity just came by chance. I was I was talking to one of my really good friends too, which he's also an agency owner, and he was talking about that there was an agency opening, and I was just listening to his conversation, and then it just caught my attention, and he said, "You'll really be, you'll be pretty good at this. Why don't we talk about it some more and see how you like it?
Yeah.
And that's how
It kind of all started from there. Interesting.
Exactly.
And so was this when so I guess let's do this. How long ago was that? How long have you been doing your own agency?
So I've been an agency owner for 3.5 years.
3.5 years.
Yeah.
So, oh my God, you right in the heart of COVID, you basically you packed your bags and started your own thing. I can't tell you how many people we've had on here that it's like, that's their story. Like something within, maybe not directly related to COVID, but just something of that world that just changed. So it's like, I'm ready for a change too.
Yeah. Because you kind of sit back and you just look at your life and you pretty much look at what your future is going to be, and then you decide on, whether you want to continue with that path or try something different.
Absolutely.
And that's what pretty much happened to me. So, and then there were some personal things going on in my life as well that kind of changed the perspective of what I wanted to do with my life. Continue with the corporate world because, that's, more structured. That's a little bit different than just being a business owner, owning your own time, which is...
We all quit corporate America to work even more hours.
Exactly. So that gave me the opportunity to pursue something that, I'm really passionate about, and then keeping my work-life balance.
Love that. And then was this opportunity that opened up, was it specifically for American Family, or did you decide on American Family, or how did that play out?
Well, it was specifically for American Family.
Okay.
So, I also did a little bit of research on other carriers and what they offer to agents, and American Family just offered a great plan, and the camaraderie that there is amongst agents, the help that they provide. It's not like a dog-eat-dog world where, we're competing against each other. It's like, no, we're pushing each other to be the best that we can in our field. So I just don't feel like I'm competing against them. I'm like competing with them for the same goal. And then it's just to be the best agents, we can be in the industry.
No, I like that because, it's like if you guys can work together, it's like otherwise you're shooting yourself in the foot. You have enough competition from other brands and other companies. It's like, and then you have to fight it within your own company. That would be brutal.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So I do get that from my colleagues.
And then are you how do the agency locations work? Like, what do you have a territory, or is it not really, because I've seen there's an American Family up here closer to me. I know you're a little further south, or can you kind of work anywhere? You just how do you not step on each other's toes, I guess, is kind of how does that work?
So it's assigned by American Family. There are agencies who are already established, and if there's a retiring agent, we pretty much just take over that agency. But if we decide to move somewhere else, we would look at a strategy just to make sure that, like you said, we don't step on each other's toes. So, and we want to make sure that demographically we are. There's enough agencies that are, stationed in, specific areas, so then we don't pretty much step on each other's toes.
Oh, but you can, if somebody, because your office is in
Morton Grove.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. I was going to say Des Plaines, but I knew that wasn't right. Morton
Close.
Grove. You were Morton Grove. Yeah, right there. I mean, roughly in the same vicinity.
Exactly. Yes.
And you just moved into a new office, didn't you?
But it's 3 blocks west of where I was. So
carried all the boxes down the street,
basically, which was an easy move, pretty much.
That's good.
Yes, and then the agency was already there for about 35 years or so. Yes.
Okay.
So it's pretty well established there. So I didn't want to make a big move. And strategically and, on a marketing perspective, it was best to stay in that area because we are well known in the Morton Grove community, like Morton Grove, Skokie. So I didn't want to make a move where it would potentially hurt the agency,
Yeah, of
where I would have
course.
to establish myself, at another area.
Yeah, why make it harder? Yeah,
Exactly.
why start over if you
Oh,
don't
exactly,
have to, right?
exactly. And then it is a prime location because I'm right off of Dempster Street, so people just can pretty much see me, and I have walk-in traffic.
That's great.
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
That's still a thing.
It
Okay.
is. It is. I really like that because it's the face to face. Talking to somebody face to face is just much better than just doing it, through phone or
Yeah.
Zoom. That nowadays, that's it's the norm. So
I'm totally old school like that. Like I love the face to face, but like
yes.
my day job, I'm fully remote, and like
Okay.
people always want to chat on the Teams, and I'm like, all right, this is taking hours to get through this conversation. So I try calling, like, don't call me. I'm going to Teams chat you. And it's just like, we would have been over with this conversation hours ago. It was a 30-second
Exactly.
phone call. And then
Exactly.
it's like back, pre-COVID when we were still in the office, I'd be the guy to walk up to your desk, like, just give me
And
an
then
answer.
just talk to you.
Like,
Yes.
just get it done,
Isn't it
It's
much
like,
better? Yeah. And then you get to know the person. And that's what I like too. I like people to know me, my customers, just to see who I am. And then it's just better to talk to somebody, face to face, put the name to the face. And that gives them a sense of comfort, knowing who you are and, having them trust you with, their biggest assets.
Yeah, and I think that relationship, the rapport, is so important.
Yes.
Like to your point, I mean, you're dealing with some of their biggest things in their life, right?
Yes.
Whether it's around their home, their business, their family.
Their lives.
Yeah,
Pretty
and really
much.
understanding what the important part is. Like, I was working with a consultant on something once, and like they literally had no idea how my business worked or operated, but yet they thought they could make a recommendation on things I needed. I'm like, you don't even know how my business works. Like, how are you doing that?
Exactly.
Like, that's so just having that thoughtfulness and actually feeling the passion. I mean, you can only get so much via email.
Oh yeah. Yes. Yeah. A bio is really just not enough.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Where were we going? We were talking. Did we segue? I do that often on here. If people listen, we'll like talk about one thing, we'll end up down the road on another. So you've been on your own for about 3.5 years now,
Yes.
right? Cool.
Yes.
What has been something that was like, I thought I knew what I was getting into, but then was like super surprising that it wasn't that way, good or bad?
It's the whole aspect of owning your own business, being the CEO of, your company. It's not just so much putting your name on the door and then just, go about your business, because it's so much more than that. It's about strategizing, planning, dealing with customers, the accounting aspect of it, because, want to make sure that your business runs, profitable, and managing people as well, because I do have, employees that I also have to deal with. So just putting it all together on a day-to-day basis, at times it becomes a lot.
So I'm interested in, so obviously you're under this name, the American Family Insurance, multi-billion-dollar company, right?
Yes.
But you are your own business entirely under using that name, right? Almost like almost like a franchise.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
So what's something like, what support do you get from American Family versus, hey, like I have to do this all on my own? Like, are they providing you any back end support from a business perspective?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. We have agency business consultants that can pretty much come and strategize a business plan for you.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So you're not just left out there to dry and figure it out completely.
We're not just, here's, the keys and, just go write some business. No, they also provide training when it comes to onboarding. And even in the licensing aspect of it, they want to make sure that we are compliant, with state guidelines. So they're very good at that. So if we need help with anything, there's always a team that's there to back us up. So we are not set for failure.
That's amazing.
Yes.
So it's a win-win. You're out on your own, but you definitely have a support team with you, which I love that.
Yes, and backing up, with that too, agents that are there to support you. I do want to emphasize that because you want to have someone who's in the field that's also helping you. So they have a team of agents that have created groups that make sure that they know what we are going through in the field, and that also helps a lot.
So what part of the business then, like, so when you want to strategize or create a game plan or a business plan, like what's the goals that you're trying to set? Like what do you want, you personally, what do you want to achieve with this?
Are we talking about, well, I mean, I have my agency goals on, let me backtrack that.
Okay.
Because the company has expectations for the agency. So based on those, we want to strategize to make sure that not only do we meet the company's goals, but our personal goals as well. Just to make sure that I am profitable. And that, obviously make money.
And that's why we're in business,
well.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. That's why we work.
Exactly. So I'm trying to figure out how I answer that question, deeper without getting into like.
Without
much.
So I guess let's twist this a little bit.
Okay.
All right. Let's say I have a friend that works for a different insurance company, and then I have clearly you, good friend that works for American Family Insurance. Why should I work with you over somebody else?
Oh, the value that I bring into the products that I'm offering you. My mission statement is to educate my customers to make sure that they see the value in the products that I sell them. Because ultimately you want to have the proper coverage because you are purchasing this. You have the coverage to make sure that you are covered in the event of a loss.
Oh, gotcha.
So in order for me to make sure that you have, proper coverage, kind of like what we spoke about when you came over to American Family, to the agency, is, to offer you what covers you the most, to make sure that, in the event of something happening to you, you're well covered. So it's educating my customers to make sure that I stand out from the competition. Because ultimately we may be able to cover you or offer you the same coverages, but it's a service that I provide, that my agency provide, that needs to stand out from the competition.
Well, and I also found that you asked a lot of questions and then helped me figure out what I needed versus like, when I talk to a different company, they're just like, well, what do you want? Like, what's your coverage? Like they basically like, well, I don't know what I don't know. Right.
Exactly.
So it's like, I think one of the big ones I remember right off the bat was, one without pretty much changing my monthly costs or like very nominally, we built in adding umbrella insurance,
yes.
Because I've got my hands in a lot, as you all know, because you're listening to this podcast. I do a lot of things. So making sure, above and beyond whatever regular insurance I had, and then the umbrella can go above and beyond that even.
Yes.
And it was like, I never even thought about that. And you were able to build it in without even, and if I had gone to somewhere else, most of them just like would have given me the regular insurance I was asking for that, it's great, good. But like, heck, you get in some of these jams with some of these different things I do, you're going to be SOL, right?
Yep.
And that's what we don't want. We don't want to be SOL.
Yep.
What's like a common, I don't want to say like mistake, but like what's something like a lot of people who they're not well informed about the insurance space, like they're missing or they're not doing right or doing as best as they could, like from maybe a certain coverage or maybe an additional insurance that's even out there that most people don't even know exists. Have you seen any common streaks with something like that?
Oh yeah, the umbrella coverage is pretty common. And people have the misconception that, because we have state minimum requirements, that is what you should have. And that's really not the case. I mean, we're looking at inflation, how it's been the highest it's been, in the last 40
Decades,
years.
yeah.
Exactly. And you get into an accident and car accident, and then multiple car accidents, and then you are deemed responsible. And then if you're carrying the state minimum, the insurance is just going to pay what the limits are on the coverage.
Right.
And then what is going to happen if you are liable for an amount that exceeds
that,
the coverage? You're in the
That's
hole.
out of pocket then, right?
Exactly. And nowadays, I mean, your emergency funds, don't really cover that. If you have,
especially on anything with a car. Oh my God.
Exactly. How much does a Tesla cost? If you
4 or 5 car accident. I mean, that's
Exactly.
could be up to a couple $100,000 in car value.
Exactly. So, if you have enough coverage, you're going to have the peace of mind that if something were to happen to you, that you're going to have a company that pretty much backs you up. And that's where I come in, to make sure that I build that relationship and that I explain to customers, what can actually happen to you if you get into those situations. And then I can give you another example. You have guests coming over because you want to have a cookout, and then you have kids that, that they want to climb up a tree, and then, that kid falls and then breaks his arm. And then, what happens? They're the guests at your house. And what if, you can say, well, you didn't watch my kid, and now, you're liable for their medical expenses and, emotional support or what have you. You're liable for that. So if you don't have enough liability coverage, it comes out of pocket.
Oh, trust me, I fear every time kids are running around our pool. Every time. I hear horror stories.
Yeah.
And I get nervous.
Oh, yeah. Having a pool, having a trampoline.
Oh, God, the trampolines.
Yes. People don't understand that those are, liabilities that you have in your house. So you want to make sure that you have enough coverage because those are things that they can happen, and want to make sure that you're covered.
Yeah. I would rather be covered and then not have to sweat it.
Exactly.
Insurance gives you peace of mind.
That's pretty much it. That is pretty much it. Yeah.
The biggest one you and I worked on. So for my fellow Jeepers that are out there that know my past, you helped me tremendously with figuring out insurance for the big Jeep invasion year after year. And think about, so I was liable for all the Jeeps. We had well over 1,000 Jeeps out there, off-roading, mudding, doing all kinds of stuff. I mean, and then you've got people in the grandstands, they're, watching. So all you do, all it takes is, one Jeep swerves out, hit a couple other Jeeps, sends a tire off, hits people in the grandstand, and all of a sudden you got a multi-million-dollar bill. So make sure for whatever you're doing, you've got the proper insurance. And it was very hard to get an event like that insured. So thank you for all the work you did on that.
Yes. We were able to get it done.
Oh, God. At the 11th hour, but we got it done.
We did, yes.
I realized we're recording this today, but on this coming Saturday is the next Jeep invasion. So probably by the time you guys are all hearing this, it's been long gone. It was weeks ago, but it sounds like it's going to be another good event this year.
It's going to be exciting. I cannot wait.
Yeah, and with all the Jeeps you guys have.
Oh my gosh, yes. Going to be a big turnout.
I hope so. I hope so for you guys.
Yes, thank you.
See, I segue. See, this is what happens. Let's talk about 2020 hindsight. We all have it, right? So in the last 3.5 years, is there anything you would have done differently? Or maybe a lesson you learned that, maybe, I wish it hadn't happened, but it was a good lesson learned, maybe like the hard way?
I don't think I would have changed. I don't think I would have changed anything, only because it hasn't been easy, but it it has made me grow as a person because I've learned so much about myself too and what I am capable of doing, because this is much bigger than what I had anticipated, yet here I am. I am standing tall, proud of what I have achieved. I feel pretty good about it. It's kind of hard to say that, but it has.
You should.
Because I've grown as a person.
Yeah.
I have the support of my family, which is huge. Especially just making sure that home is taken care of. While I'm out working. I don't think I would have been able to do it if I didn't have the help back, at home with my husband and even my kids too. I love that my kids are, pretty much taken care of, and they know, what I'm doing is for the better of the family. So I'm pretty okay with that.
I love that. I think the family goes so much as the unsung heroes here, in the stories of, the owners are out there, we're grinding, 70, 80, 100-hour weeks sometimes, depending where we're at with our business.
Yep.
And, and then we've got, wife, partners, husbands that are out there like either right next to us or, they're at home taking care of the family, doing what they need to do and knowing that they'll come home eventually. They'll be there, but, the unsung heroes for sure.
Yes.
And your husband, Diego, I love him. He's amazing.
Thank you. Yes.
We should have made him just sit here and be like, we brought all the Jeeps out here so we could have,
made him stop by and talk about Jeeps too.
We could have recorded just like a Jeep episode.
You should.
Well, very cool. So you dove headfirst into this new venture for you, right?
Yes.
Was there any time in like that like a pivotal moment, let's call it that, where like, hey, like I can like maybe where you questioned doing this and then now I know I'm making it, or at the one point where you just like, now I know I can do this? Was there like a specific moment in time where like it just kind of clicked for you, or you still kind of feel like you're full on boxing with taking all this on?
I still feel like I am, like you say, like I'm boxing it because every day I learn something new, because there's just so much to learn about the insurance industry, that it's not like just take a training course and then you're out there and you're just selling insurance. No, there's so much to learn. And I feel like, even though I am doing it, I still feel like I'm learning every single day. And that is, an advice that I also took from, one of the seasoned agents they have been doing this for a really long time, that you are always evolving and always learning. So I know that at the beginning, it's like, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? It's not, what I really thought it was. But, obviously I'm in a much better place now, because I feel like more comfortable, but I'm always learning something new.
Well, and I feel like too, like let's say today in this exact moment, you knew everything there was to know about insurance, right? Mm-hmm. I feel either one of two things is going to, no matter what happened. And one is either like, let's say American Family changes something the way they want to operate. So now policies are changing, or laws change. Whether at a state level, a county level, a federal level, whatever has, and then American Family has to change how those policies operate and work from either a legality standpoint or anything like that. So guess what? Now you're learning anyway. So I feel like even some of the stuff you and I've worked through even over the years that it's involved in, like where we talk about like state minimums or especially on the business side. Business side gets way more, I'm going to use the word convoluted.
Yes. Yes.
Because depending on what your business does and being very particular on, I will always say too, like, I am not an insurance expert. I'm not a legal expert, but be very clear on what you do with your business, because if the insurance company doesn't understand that and they don't insure it the way it's supposed to be, you could end up SOL.
Pretty much.
Yeah, like with the Jeep invasion, that was a big thing we ran into. It's like we had to be very clear on, what the Jeeps were doing, how they were doing it, where they were doing, how many were doing it.
Yes.
And they wanted down. What we were doing, like distance from like where the grandstands to where people were sitting and all that. Like, and then all that does too is it's like, well, you said this was just going to be like a 5 Jeep event and there's 1,000 here, you know, it's like,
exactly.
that changes everything. Right. So, yeah, like, or even just if you're a storefront, what are you selling? How are you selling? How many people are in there? You know, is there, I don't know, are you selling knives versus pillows, I guess, you know, it could be totally different too.
Oh,
Who
yeah.
knows?
Yeah.
But
That's why with any change that comes along, you have to re-strategize. You have to sit back and pivot from what you were initially trying to sell and, you know, just trying to be open to changes because it evolves. Nowadays with, you know, I feel like the insurance industry is changing because of climate change and, you know, the rise in claims. We want to make sure that, you know, we have enough to cover for, you know, those claims that are coming in, you know, the projections on, you know, storms that are now coming in. And, you know, we want to make sure that, you know, we properly insure customers and how we're pretty much charging the customers just to make sure that, you know, we also don't, you know, run out of business too.
Yeah, of course.
So we want to make sure that, you know, with those changes, and in my business specifically, how I pivot and how I change my business strategy just to make sure that, you know, I not only, you know, have enough business to cover it, but, you know, how am I going to do it? Like, how am I going to make sure that I sell it to the customers just to make sure that they do have enough coverage and that they know that what we're charging, it is based on, you know, to make sure that if there's any loss that happens, we're there to back them up.
So you bring up an interesting point, and I was like, well, maybe you have some insight on this, and maybe not. This because it's not has anything to do with Chicagoland area, but I've been reading it that in like Florida and like some of the other like southeast states that like insurance companies aren't even offering insurance anymore because of the like, at least on the homeowners, I believe, because like the flooding and the storms have been getting so bad. Is this correct?
Yep, That's
crazy.
Yeah, because of excessive claims. They're projecting, I mean, the climate is changing where you see more storms. So
you mean climate like the actual weather we're talking about? Like,
oh my
gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I'm just going to give you, you know, an example. If they project maybe one major storm a year, now we're looking at 5. So we want to make sure that we have enough
5
funds.
times
Exactly.
claims,
Exactly. So if insurance companies don't see that they're going to be able to either cover it or they cannot make any profits, you know, from it, then they're just, you know, not going to be writing.
Not worth their while.
Exactly. Right. They're not going to be writing business there.
Yeah, they're not making money doing it. They're not going to do it.
Exactly.
Right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
I mean, that's what business is, right?
Yeah. Pretty much.
Is there, on a kind of a segue note, is there anything or just any kind of coverages you do not offer? Because it sounds like you have a lot. So the list would probably be shorter of anything you don't do.
So American Family operates in 14 states.
Okay.
However, as an agency owner for American Family, we have a brokerage department where we can actually lend. I'm sorry, not lend. Talking back to my
flashbacks.
Yes. You know, we can actually insure. Operate in 50 in the remaining states, you know, through our brokerage department.
Okay.
So we try to find coverages that are not offered with American Family through our brokerage department.
So that's a nice way of saying, no, you don't. There's nothing you don't
Exactly.
offer. Okay.
Pretty much. So we try to find a product. If it's not offered through American Family, we can offer it through our brokerage department. I am particularly licensed to operate to operate in Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Arizona, and Florida. Surprisingly, Florida. Yes.
So you pretty much got the Chicagoland covered, and then where all the Chicagoland people go to retire.
Yes, pretty much. My snowbirds. Yes.
Yeah, you got all your
I
snowbirds
do.
covered.
I do. Yes.
It's funny. I think anybody who's like a multi-state business, I always hear it's like Illinois and Arizona, Illinois, Arizona.
Yes.
It's like second Chicago out there.
Oh yeah. And I do have customers who actually spend their winters in Arizona. So I covered all of their assets, there and here. Yes.
Well, I hope I shortly be one of those people because I am over these winters here.
The winters are getting bad. Yes.
Well, they're just getting like trust me, I love a good snowstorm. Like I love the sound, like that quiet after a snowstorm. I love a beautiful white after. I don't like that deep cold. It's like, and that's what we get more of.
Yes.
It's like this negative 10 with 30 below wind chills. It's like that's just debilitating.
Is that when you have to wear pants instead of just wearing shorts all winter?
So for those who don't know me this well, I am known for always wearing shorts.
Yes.
Always. There's definitely photos and videos out there where it's some of even these Jeep events where
middle of winter.
Yep. It was like January. It was like 10 below. I've got my parka on. I got hats and gloves. And then I'm in shorts. Yes. There was a couple times I was like, oh my God, I actually think I have to put pants on.
I have yet to see that time. Though.
Don't hold your breath. That's so. Of course, that would come up. Why am I not surprised?
Anyone that knows you should know that's what you're known for.
Yeah,
yes,
right? Shorts, Eric in shorts. Yep.
Yes,
I'm good for it. Oh man, I run hot. That's why it's like
yes.
Pants, meh. Oh, now you left. Now I'm like I'm all over the place. All right, regroup.
Yes.
All right. So you talk about your business from you personally.
Yes.
You have to always keep evolving, always keep strategizing. What is something like? Has there been any major changes for you in your business in the last 3.5 years?
Oh yeah, the changes now with insurance and the premium increases.
Oh my God, can we? My paycheck hurts.
No, I know. And then with the rising cost of absolutely everything. Yeah, it has been challenging, to say the least. And that's where I also go back to what I said before. It's, to re-strategize and, to make sure that, now I have to spend a little more time going into depth with the coverages that everybody has so they can make sure that, they're maximizing on what they're paying for. And I have to be empathetic with my customers because it hurts. I mean, it's hurting me too. I'm also a customer of American Family.
Yeah,
exactly,
right, yeah.
exactly. My insurance, went up. How many cars I have, the Jeep. So
6 or 7 or 8 or 9. I can't even keep track. Diego's probably coming home with a new one right now.
Neither can I. So, I'm feeling it as well. So I have to be empathetic and understanding that, it's hurting us all. So I want to make sure that my customers know that I am there for them, offering them the best, the most discounts available, looking at deductibles, looking at coverages, just making sure that, we cross all our T's, just to make sure that they know how much they're paying for and how much, they're covered. And if there's anything extra that we may be able to tweak and then just revisit in a later time, then we could do that.
Well, and I know too with, obviously this whole podcast is about our small business owners, right? Every dollar counts.
Yes.
Whether that dollar is going to marketing, advertising, product, research, paying salaries, whatever that might be. That, I know for a lot of our small business owners that it hurts when they're writing, hundreds of dollars, sometimes thousands of dollars for insurance for something like that. It's not an ROI for the business, right? Like it is not. They're not making more sales. They're not, whatever, you're not getting more work out of a team or something like that. But the other thing is too, like, and I hear we've even talked about in other podcast episodes that they want to cut it or trim it down, less coverage or not have the coverage and risk it for the, might be illegal, but, risk it as well. And it's like, you guys might be saving a few $100s, a few $1,000s today, but one thing goes wrong and you your business either might be gone or you might be owing millions of dollars in something, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it's just like, I think that's where it comes so important to work with, you one-on-one to really understand like, yeah, like great, you're saving $200 a month if you do this, but easily one accident and you're paying, hundreds of thousands of dollars because you only have so much coverage.
You nailed it. You nailed it.
It hurts. It hurts. I know you guys, all our small business owners listening out here, I know some of these things, as we kind of call them, the operational costs of our business, but they're so important because in the long run, it can hurt 10 times more.
Yes.
But just work with, the right people to understand what you actually need and if it's in the right place.
Yes.
Soapbox moment there for me.
You nailed it.
Yeah. I almost learned the lesson the hard way. I got really, really lucky and I didn't. So I'm really glad to have what I have. So, consult experts, guys. That is the biggest thing here.
Yes.
Small business community. I think is going to be a great segue for you. What is one of the best pieces of advice you've ever received now as a small business owner?
Maximize my time, own my time. Being a business owner, I own my time. I have to make the best of it because I have the opportunity to, manage the time that I invest on my business to make sure that I balance it out with my personal life. And going back to what, how we met through Jeeps.
Yep.
And that's how I pretty much balance my work life. I make sure that I do the things that I love and I incorporate work. And that's a great thing. I mean, I'm having fun while I'm also working.
Love that.
Yes. So owning my time and making sure that I'm doing the things that I love while I work. I mean, it's been great. And that's one of the reasons why, I ventured into being a business owner.
When I seem, obviously I know you on a more personal level, but I see, you get to spend a lot of time with the family and the kids. You got your daughters in all kinds of competitions and you get to be there for all of that. The travels you guys do, and I think that comes to say, being a small business owner, it has its perks, but like you said, time is your most valuable product that you have because you can't get more of it.
Exactly.
So you have to spend it the right way. Every single thing you do costs time.
Exactly.
And what are you going to do with that?
Yes. Time is money.
Time is definitely money. And that comes like, I think we were talking about this on the last podcast I recorded. But like people so I have a very small yard. You've seen my house and for most people, it would probably take maybe 30 minutes to an hour to do all the lawn care. We've got a lot of, bushes and trimmings and stuff like that. But I pay somebody to do that. And I get a lot of crap from all my guy friends who, love taking care of their yard. I'm like, yeah, but that's my Sunday morning. My time for what I pay this guy, Danny, he's incredible. I love him. And what he charges me to do it, that is far more valuable to have that time back than, and I look at it that way. So it's like things like, I'm going to sit on the phone for Comcast for 2.5 hours to get a $20 back. I'm like, nah, it's not
worth
my
it.
value of my time versus what I'm getting out of it. It's like those 2 hours, guess what? I could record 2 more podcasts,
Exactly.
Or get $20 back from Comcast that we all hate, and fight them because my 2-year, new
contract
customer
expired.
So now we're going to jack your prices up. Great. Now I'm going to have to threaten to cancel for the next 6 hours, and then you're finally just going to put me back on the plan. So why don't we just cut the crap and give me the plan back?
Just do it.
Comcast, I hope you're listening. Or Xfinity, whatever you want to call yourself now. The changing your name didn't change anything. Soapbox. Anyway, let's talk. So we kind of went down this road a little bit. Maybe it was something we kind of grazed over, or something more you want to talk about was kind of the emerging trends, right? We talked about, literally the weather affecting your industry, right?
Yes.
Is the way we live in the world, or is there anything else that you're seeing that's kind of changing how industry is or how you're running it? I mean, things like we're kind of going back and off a bit, like everyone working remote, it's
Yeah.
like, now some people are going back in the office and things like that. But
Yes.
have you seen anything else kind of like that affecting your industry?
Oh yeah, especially with the pandemic. People are working from home. They don't have the need to use their cars much, so they don't really see the value of the insurance the way that they saw it before. It's like, well, I don't drive my car much, so
Right.
why do I have to pay much for insurance? But now I have to explain to them that the cost of labor has increased. So even if the vehicle is a couple of years older, if they get into an accident, it's going to cost more to fix those cars than what it cost, before. So we have to look at it that way. I have to explain to them that even though they're driving less, at the time that they drive, it can cost more.
Yeah.
So we have to factor that in.
Did the I think it was like a small little like one-off company I was reading about, but like paying by the mile driven, is that like a thing, or did that kind of come and go where like you could, yeah, it was like almost like an on and off switch for insurance? Is that a
You
thing?
can. That's what's called user-based coverage.
Okay.
So we do offer that as well.
Okay.
So you can get savings, just on how much you drive.
But that's got to be for probably somebody who drives like so little.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it does offer savings on a monthly basis because it does track how much you drive. We also offer a program where it tracks your driving patterns.
Interesting.
Yes.
Ooh.
So
Not stalkerish at all. Okay, big brother.
No. But you do have your phone
Of course,
that,
yeah.
you feel like, you mention, anything in particular, and then you have all these ads
Yeah.
about, a carpet or,
Well, I'm gonna get
any
Jeep ads
brand
all day now,
There you
right?
go. So, we do have that. So,
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's just more, stockish. It's more so of, they want to make sure, like insurance companies want to make sure that they reward the customers that, are better drivers than others. So that's one of the reasons why, insurance companies just implement that plan. So then if you're a good driver, we're going to reward you by giving you additional savings.
So that means I hope they're charging more for the people who drive the speed limit in the left lane, right?
I hope so.
That for just the road rage they cause, implement a fine for that, or
Yes.
a premium.
Yes.
Oh man, but no, but I like that too, because it's like if you're a very like 10 and 2 speed limit driver, but then you're somebody else who's texting going 30 over all the time, and it's like, well, why are those two people paying the same amount, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you want to reward the better drivers because, insurance is so complicated. There's so many factors that determine a premium when it comes to vehicles, driving history, credit. There's just so much that goes into it. So if you have, a better driving history or better driving patterns, why not reward you?
So you're saying the insurance company will know more about me than an angry ex? Got it. Okay.
Perhaps. You didn't hear from me though.
No, but but that all makes sense. Why, I think across the board, everyone paying the same versus like, hey, like I haven't been in an accident. Some people never, or,
Exactly.
it's been, knock on wood, 15 years or
Yes.
whatever,
Yes.
it's like, hey, here, you get to benefit from being a safe driver.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It is a shared risk. So everybody needs to understand that, you put your money into a pool and then that's where, money comes out pretty much just to, pay for claims should something happen.
So I have a question I'm going to ask because I have a curiosity around my homeowner's insurance.
Okay.
So obviously you have your home, the home value itself, right?
Yes.
Just an empty house, right? But I have a lot of stuff in my house, right?
Okay.
And some of the stuff's worth a lot. Everything from, all my camera equipment to very high-end computers to jewelry and stuff like that is like figuring out what those values exactly are, and do I want to adjust my homeowner's insurance for the value of the stuff inside, because it could be significant, or is that kind of calculated to a degree within my homeowner's insurance?
It is calculated into your homeowner's insurance because we insured a percentage based on what your home is worth. But if there are any specific items that you want to insure, we can itemize them. So anything that is really high value, jewelry, we talked about that.
Yeah.
If there's anything, art.
Art.
Yeah.
Ooh, good
Oh
one.
yeah. We can actually itemize that. You want to make sure that you have an appraisal just so we can make sure that, we're insuring it based on, what is actually worth. We
Don't
can
worry, my
definitely
Monet
do that.
it's down hanging in the basement. It's totally safe. Okay.
I'd insure that too.
Yeah. Yes. I might move it to a vault now that people might think I have a Monet in my basement.
Don't know where he lives.
Yeah, because I was thinking about it. It's like I started just out of morbid curiosity, it was like oh, my TV's worth $500, and my camera's worth this and that. And then I was like, wow, that adds up really fast.
It does.
It
does.
It's like all this stuff we've bought over 10 plus years, whatever. And then you've got your furniture, but those hold zero value. You buy a couch for $1,000, you can't even sell it for $100.
Those are items that, they're all necessities as well. So if, a fire, were to occur, you want to make sure that you replace those
100%.
items. Exactly.
Yeah.
But then when it comes to electronics, we have a coverage that's called equipment breakdown. So if you have a power surge.
Talk to me about that. Okay. I have a lot of electronics. Okay.
Oh, yes. So if you have a power surge and it goes poof.
Yeah.
You do have coverage. I mean, I can offer you an additional coverage. That's an additional coverage. And then it's so cheap. But it's really good. And then you have like a separate deductible for that. And that's really good to have.
Now I'm like almost shopping here. What's the typical deductible for something like that? Because sometimes it's not even worth it based on what the value of that electronic
It's $500.
See, yeah. So it's a borderline there. Because it's like,
but depending on what type of equipment that you have, like, in my house in particular, I have, the theater set.
The home theater set that up.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
If something were to happen, that, it's really valuable for me.
100%.
But like I said, you have a power surge and, it happened to my sister in Florida. Lightning stroke, and all of her, TVs, they all blew up.
Everything went out. Okay, so that would that's definitely more of because I was trying to think like of the electronics. Like, I mean, my TV's definitely worth more than $500, but like at that point, I guess. But if I'm paying $500 and then I can get the same value.
What about your fridge?
Oh God, the way now you have to buy them every 3 years anyway.
Yes,
it's so ridiculous.
They don't last as long as they used to before.
Oh, my buddy has like a refrigerator from like the 50s in his garage. It's his like beer fridge.
Okay.
It stays colder, runs smoother, and hasn't touched it. I mean, it's from the 1950s. There is nothing that you buy today that will last that long.
Oh yeah, I agree, 100%.
But that's a whole nother topic. So interesting. And so what's the name of this electronic one you just talked about again?
It is called oh my gosh.
Put you on the spot.
You sure did, because I have it on the tip of my tongue. It is equipment coverage.
Equipment coverage.
Yeah.
Okay. I might, and then the big one for me is really my camera equipment. I have a lot and lots of camera equipment. We have jewelry. Jacqueline has some very nice jewelry too, but my camera equipment is the one because that might be interesting. Maybe it's something you and I can talk to more offline, because my camera equipment's mobile, right? Like, so if I get robbed or like someone, if it's in my car and gets broken out of my car, or I'm at a park at a photo shoot and someone steals it. So that's a whole nother. That makes me so nervous. I watch some of these photographers and they just like,
oh my God,
thousands and thousands of dollars of camera equipment laying around at weddings. And it's like, if anyone even has any clue what that stuff's worth, it's gone.
Anything that's personal, we would want to make sure that that's covered.
Yeah. Anyway, so again, I digress. Let's go this route. Let's say, we've got a lot of current business owners. listening. We've got even just a lot of just individuals listening. What's the best route if they want to like get all their insurance stuff evaluated? They want to talk with you. They want to come meet with you. Can you do a phone call, Skype?
yeah.
What does that look like?
Zoom, in person. Like I mentioned to you before, I love to do one-on-ones.
Yeah.
And I want people to know me. Basically know me in person, just to know who I am, what the business has to offer. And I do a personal insurance review. I get to know about the person, the business, because ultimately I want to know the down to what the business entails in order for me to create a personalized quote, just to make sure that everything is covered, and even a whole package excuse me, when it comes to home, autos, just to be a one-stop shop. Just as something were to happen, there's just one person that they go to for their coverages. Essentially, I want to cover their dreams.
That's a line right there.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
Okay, that's a soft spot right there. I like that. I just want to cover their dreams.
Yes.
Ooh. Tagline right there. Bold, underline, italicized.
That is me.
I love that. Very cool. Let's talk about the entrepreneur mindset for a second. Somebody who's looking to start their own business or maybe even get into insurance. What's a piece of advice you would like to give them?
Do your research.
I like that.
Maybe American family will not be their best fit for them. You want to make sure that you create a business plan just to make sure what your market is, what the target market is. Because if you are just going blind, I don't think it's going to get you anywhere.
Yeah.
So if you have a passion for people, if you have a passion for helping others, the business is good for you. But you want to make sure that you do your research, and you want to make sure that what the insurance world entails, it is for you, because it's not for everybody. It's tough, only because there's a lot of competition out there. So before you go into it, you want to make sure that it is the right fit for you.
That's fair. I mean, and if you don't love what you do, then, how do you get behind it?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. You have to have a passion for it, and you have to really like it.
And I feel like, we talked about early in the episode that the nice thing with you being with an American family, you don't feel like it's a shark world, right?
Yes.
But
Exactly.
But based on the amount of advertising I get for insurance, I would feel like it is like World War III out there. I mean, I feel like every other ad I see is for an insurance company for something,
Because there's a lot of competition.
Oh, of course.
And we may offer similar products, but is who you are dealing with that's going to make you stand out from the rest.
Absolutely. And I'm for one of those, like, talking to a human versus, an AI chatbot, trying to get my information. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, no. I want to know who's getting it and who I'm speaking to directly.
Well, as I told you, the hour was going to fly by. I'm creeping up on it. So
nice.
I know we were all over the place. Was there anything you were hoping to talk about or cover today that we have not chatted about?
I think we've talked a lot about absolutely everything. Like me personally, the business itself. I am passionate about what I do. I'm passionate about helping people. I'm passionate about educating my customers, so they can make sure that they don't feel like their money is going to waste. Especially my customers who don't have claims. Because that's where you see the value of it. But, I like to educate my Jeep community, which I absolutely love, the Hispanic community too, that they don't seem to be educated on it, especially the Spanish, customers who only speak Spanish
Yes, yes.
on the life insurance sector. Yes,
Okay.
yes, because they don't really see it as a benefit, which is huge. I mean,
It's
it's
so interesting.
yes, it's a very affordable coverage, and we normally see that you see a GoFundMe pages.
Yeah.
To cover for funeral expenses. You don't want to go in and ask somebody for, a GoFundMe to cover a funeral expense to go bury somebody. It's,
Funerals gotten so expensive.
yes.
And it's like
tens of thousands of dollars to
easy,
bury
yeah.
somebody. So
It's brutal.
yes,
So
yes.
sad.
So it's about educating customers. So that's my passion.
Well, on that note, now that my heart, it feels so heavy. It's been such a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. I am so glad that we were able to make this work. I know you've helped me a lot. Hopefully you get to help our listeners out, even whether it's their personal stuff, their business stuff, and everything you did to help make Jeep Invasion possible. Like, if it wasn't for you, I don't know what I would have done without that insurance.
Thank you. Yes.
The amount of work I don't even want to know that you did to get that to make it happen. But thank you. And again, to our listeners, shop local, support local. And obviously, I'll put all the information if you want to reach out and, get some information on insurance, get your stuff checked, have questions. I know you're always going to reach back out. So
thank you. Free insurance reviews. That's what I do.
I like that word. Free insurance reviews. Hey, it doesn't hurt,
It does not.
And the biggest thing I can't emphasize enough especially with the insurance space, you don't know what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
There was all kinds of things that I even learned one today. I'm going to go get my electronics covered before they all get fried. But
equipment breakdown coverage.
That's
breakdown
what it's
coverage.
Called. There it is.
Equipment breakdown.
Yeah.
We just came out.
Better late than never.
Thank you.
Well, thank you again for your time. Listeners,
you for having me.
Thank you again. Again, like, comment, share, tell your friends about the podcast. It supports local, shop local. And until next time, goodbye for now. And that wraps up another episode of Small Business Big Dreams. Thank you for joining us. Please support us and these incredible small businesses by sharing this podcast with friends, family, and on your social networks. Spreading the word not just helps us grow, but more importantly supports the dreams of our local entrepreneurs. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. But if you have a small business we should hear about, reach out to us on social media or our website. We would love to hear from you. Until next week, I'm your host, Eric Bohl. Keep supporting small businesses, and goodbye for now.